event is special because it's the first time Nunez Community College has organized a political forum. We have hosted similar events in the past on behalf of partner organizations, but this is the first time Nunez has waded into the political waters. This event is also part of our larger efforts for Constitution Day 2023. Constitution Day is an important effort to focus on civic engagement, and that's exactly what we hope to accomplish with this forum. With that, I'd like to wish all the candidates good luck. Tonight, I'd like to welcome to the stage our Chancellor, Dr. Tsai.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Tsai. I serve as the Chancellor of Nunez Community College, and I would like to say thank you to our entire SGA for organizing and bringing this event to fruition. I also want to give a special thanks to the Nunez faculty and staff for being involved, whether it's logistically to make tonight happen or philosophically to teach and impress upon our students the importance of civic responsibility. A special thanks to each of our candidates for being with us tonight. We believe that the two major issues for any community are safety and security and education. As a higher education institution, it's an imperative that our students and our citizens understand issues on education, platforms on education, and the ability to hear and engage with each of our candidates so that they can make informed decisions. With that, it is my privilege to introduce our moderator for this evening, one of our own, our 2022 Excellence in Teaching Award winner, Mr. Slie.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
We're really honored that you're here with us at our little gym of community college. I'm going to be serving as the moderator, and I'm going to be assisted by John. Again, my name is Slie. I'm a faculty member here. I've been with Nunez for 20 years, and I'm also the program chair for the Louisiana transfer. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about how this is going to go for the format, and we'll dive right in. So each of you is going to be given 60 seconds as an intro. I'm going to alter the way you're called upon as we go. So for the intros, the questions, and the closings, so we won't go in the same order. You each get 60 seconds for an intro, and then you will each have 2 questions that you'll answer along the way. You'll answer those questions in 60 seconds, and you get a 60-second closing. John's my timekeeper, so he is going to hold up this yellow sign pretty loud and proud. That's your 20 seconds. When he holds up the red sign, we ask that you wrap that. Any questions about that?
No, sir.
If you would excuse me. So you don't have to hear that.
It's very hard for me not to get up and fix these microphones right now.
No.
Well,
Are these on automatically, or we have to turn it on?
nope.
I'm working.
You're working. So if you can grab your mics, just make sure that they're on.
Test
How
one,
do we know
test
it's
one.
on?
Thank you so much. Okay, so here we're going to go, and let's start over here with Patrice. Patrice, we're going to start with you. And the first question that I'm going to ask all of you is just to do a 60-second introduction of who you are as a candidate.
Thank you, Nunez, for hosting this forum. I'm Patrice Cusimano, and I am the best person to fill the District A seat, mainly because of my legal background. I worked as a staff attorney at the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeal for 27 years, researching and writing legal opinions dealing with every aspect of state law. My experience would be an asset to the council, especially when dealing with lawsuits against the parish, and perhaps more importantly, the writing of ordinances and policies. My experience serving on the Library Board and the Kiwanis District Board and managing large public budgets would also be an asset. Being retired, I have the time to devote to this position and to my constituents. I'm passionate about St. Bernard Parish, and I want to see it continue to be the best community in which to live and raise our families. Thank you.
Wayne, can you hear your introduction?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Wayne McCarthy. I want to quickly say it's an honor to be sitting up here. Some of you may know I worked for this campus for almost a decade and was an advisor to the student government when I was here, so I'm very honored to be here. I am also a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I started in Araby and moved down the road and attended Goche and Beauregard, and then moved up back the road to go to Andrew Jackson. I attended USL, and I also attended Nunez Community College as both a regular student and as an adult learner when I was employed here. Why I'm running is because after the tornado, I was tired of seeing the people in this parish be run out and not be able to live the life that they had lived in this parish because of outside entities and outside things pushing them out. I want to be the voice for the actual average person on that council. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Christian.
Hi, I'm Christian Sullivan. I want to thank Nunez for hosting this event, also for creating the next generation of welders, electricians, and HVAC technicians. As a builder and a developer, I appreciate your guys' efforts in educating the future workers. Hopefully we'll get to collaborate with some of your students in the future. I'm the best person to help build this parish forward since I've been building this parish since the storm. Over the last 16 to 17 years, I've helped to develop over 150 homes in the parish. Mostly over the last 6 years, I've developed roughly 50 to 70 new homes in Araby and Araby Heights. The four major pillars of my campaign are parks, community development, code enforcement, and also anti-port. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate that. We're going to jump right into the questions here. Again, you each have 60 seconds to answer the questions. I want to stick with you, Mr. Christian. Community college students typically live and work within a 20-mile radius of a community college. And the mission of our institution is to provide high-wage, high-demand jobs to graduates. What strategies would you employ to recruit and retain businesses and industries so our parish and our region, so our graduates do not have to leave to secure high-quality jobs? Christian.
Great question. Excellent. Well, there is definitely and has been a need for HVAC, electrician, and welders over the last 6 to 7 years in the parish. That is tapering off due to the fact that the residential properties are no longer being built at the same level. But that gives us an opportunity to expand commerce and business in this parish. With the graduates from this school, we can help to develop new industries, develop older industries, tear down what's old and not working, and build what's new. There's a lot of work to be done, especially in the HVAC, welding, and electrical fields. This is the greatest time for these people in this parish based off the fact that it's time to rejuvenate our business and industry in this parish. By bringing more business and industry to this parish, what we can do is we can create a better place to live without having to leave the parish. Like you said, stay in a close proximity to the parish. The housing will come if we build business and industry, which will give them a great opportunity to ply their trades.
Thank you. Each candidate has the right to have the question repeated, so if you'd like to, please let me know. I'll move down to you, Wayne. Do you want the question repeated, or?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. So the great thing about Nunez Community College is it's not just a trade school. I learned production education at this school. I take that education and I use it every day in logistics. I deal with hundreds of people a day, thousands of properties across the country, and that use skills that I learned at this school. We also, at Nunez, have had a great relationship between Nunez and the refineries and our petrochemical industries. We need to take that model and apply it to the other disciplines at this school. Give that equal treatment to an English department, because you can build teachers. Give that to a math department because you can then build people to go work in the science and aerospace industry, which Nunez is doing, and I am so glad that it has done that. But we need to double down on those programs in order to get the students from this school in front of the proper businesses and bring that revenue back into the parish.
Thank you, Wayne. Patrice?
Thank you.
I'm also a product of the public schools here in St. Bernard Parish. And although my son went to Holy Cross, he was a student here at Nunez, and he was working towards an EMT degree at the time that Hurricane Katrina hit. When Katrina settled down and he went back to work, he decided to go to UNO and finish his degree, and I'm happy to say that every single one of his credits here from Nunez transferred to UNO, which gave him a great hands up. I'm very appreciative of this school, not just because of the trades that they have here, which is so important in our community, but also because of the culinary department. I actually have a scholarship here in my son's name for the culinary department, and the school here, I love the relationship that they have with the public school here, and how these kids can come here and earn credits before they ever get to college and have a head start and a foot in the door. Thank you.
We like that the candidates running for District A really like Nunez. Let's move here. I'll start with you, Wayne, this time. And pretty simple question. What are your top 3 priorities if elected? Wayne.
Well, my top 3 priorities would start with the real estate situation in my district. Housing prices have gone through the roof, which has caused insurance rates to go through the roof, which has caused insurance companies to outright drop coverage on people or backdoor coverage not covering things. I'm a perfect result of that, whereas I thought I had full coverage, and State Farm said, no, it was tweaked at some point about 20 years ago, right after Katrina, and we didn't sell you the policy we told you we did. So those things are affecting Araby. Crime, not as big of an issue yet, but our proximity to New Orleans allows people who want to do us harm in and out, quick access. So we need to put up, work with the police department to get some proactive policing to get to the issues before they become a problem. And third would be recreation. Patricia Park is just sitting unused. There's Carolyn Park is getting fundraisers, but Patricia Park is sitting there unused and getting no love, and I would want to see that rectified.
Thank you. Patrice, your top 3 priorities.
Thank you. My main focus would be on code enforcement, because I personally think it's a good thing that our property values are going up, but it's difficult to sell a new home when you have a blighted property across the street, and some of these houses have been sitting there since Hurricane Katrina. Some people have moved out of their homes and they're now using them to run mechanic shops and have trucks and boats on their front lawns. So I'd like to have a full-time code enforcement department that could enforce the ordinances that we already have on the books. I also would like to see the recreation department step up things. I do know that Patricia Park should be coming back online next year. They're getting ready to put up lights and build a concession stand and bathrooms there, and Vista will be right behind that. It's expensive, and we need a way to maintain these parks once they're built. Third is the roads in our parish, or in District A in particular, need to be resurfaced. We'd like to work with DOTD to get that done, especially on Judge Perez. Thank you.
Great, and we'll finish with you, Christian.
My top 3 priorities are this. Priority number 1 is to stop the pulling. If that fails, which is, it would be devastating, I would then concentrate my efforts on making sure that the port lived up to its agreements in building the causeway, building an overpass, maybe even an underpass. But the 3 main exits from the parish need to be updated and make sure that they don't cause a catastrophe with traffic, etc. That would be my number 1 priority. My number 2 priority would be business and commerce. It's time that we updated the business and commerce. That means going outside the parish to find investors, to find outside companies that would like to come to the parish. The parish is a beautiful, safe place to go. We have one thing that other parishes don't have, that's safety. We're not going to get ransacked. You're not going to have your store robbed on a daily basis. So we can attract outside businesses to the parish to make it a more robust place to live. Number 3, as they've mentioned, parks. Carolyn Park's having a spectacular next month, 14th and 15th. Everybody should go and help Carolyn Park get back on her feet. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go to our 67-second closing remarks, and we're going to just come back down the line. So, Mr. Christian, we'll start with you, Wayne, and then Patrice. So you have 60 seconds to make your closing remarks.
Well, in closing, I hope to get everybody's support. I have a lot of great ideas for the parish. Over the last 5 to 7 years, I'm a hero and a villain to most. It depends on who you talk to. The development in Araby Heights has been great. We brought a lot of new people into the parish, a lot of old people back to the parish with newer homes, updated homes, homes that were desperately needed, I think, in the parish. I would like to continue that on, but I'd also like to develop certain portions of the parish, help with the business and industry. It's needed. It has to happen. We can't have a ramshackle look down Judge Perez and hope to draw new people to the parish. We need 20,000 people more in order to update our tax base to make sure that we have safety for our levees, our road construction, and other major projects. These aren't going to get done without a higher tax base and more people in the parish. In order to bring more people to the parish, we need to update certain portions of the parish, and that's my plan. Thank you, and hopefully I can earn your support.
Thank you. Wayne.
Look, I'm just a normal person. I don't have the resume that my two opponents have. I work in a warehouse all day. I've never really lived anywhere but this parish. And I don't want to go anywhere. My family left after Katrina. I came back. I lived in my car so I could stay. I came to Nunez to work in 2007 when buildings were still frame structures. And I helped rebuild the wires in these ceilings. That was me. And I did a lot of it for free before I was even an employee because the people I knew that worked here. But that's always been me. Boots on the ground, normal person, doing what needs to be done when it needs to get done. And that's what I want to bring to the council. I can work with a team. I work in the entertainment industry and the event industry. I can work with personalities. But I also know business end. I know when weather patterns affect who's coming to town. I have to deal with that every day when I ship things to events on the West Coast, on the East Coast. I know what it takes to bring things into the parish because I've been here and I've seen what we've needed. And it's time that it actually gets done.
Thank you, Wayne. We'll finish with you, Patrice.
Thank you. My longtime dedication to service in this community is the driving force behind my decision to run for council. As a political science major, I've always had an interest in politics, but my commitment to my family and my job didn't allow me the time I believe is necessary to do a good job. Being retired, I can be available to my constituents 24/7. I want to see District A come together and work toward common goals so that all residents feel welcomed and satisfied with their quality of life. We have come a long way since 2005, and even since the tornadoes of 2022. I want to continue on this path and will fight to make good things happen in District A. This is our home, and together we can make District A a model of what a close-knit community looks like. I would appreciate your vote on October 14th. Thank you.
Well, thank you on behalf of Nunez Community College for being with us and for your commitment to serve, and best of luck.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez Community College, and on behalf of Nunez, we'd like to welcome you and say thanks for being here. We're talking now to the candidates in District B. I'm going to let you know a little bit about how this is going to go. I'm joined by our student, President John Tsai. He's going to be our timekeeper. You're each going to have 60 seconds for an opening, 60 seconds for the 2 questions that we'll ask, and then you're going to have 60 seconds for a closing. John's going to put up this yellow sign when you have 20 seconds left, and he's going to put up the red sign when the time is up. When the red sign comes up, just ask that you wrap up your thoughts from there. I will alter the way in which I ask you questions, so for you guys, we'll just ping pong back and forth.
Okay.
Feel good about that?
Yeah.
Great.
Would you suggest we?
Yeah, that was the last thing I was going to tell
Hold the
you. Please,
microphone?
when you're speaking, if you could lift the microphone and use it. This is being live streamed, so we'd like to pick that up. But we also want to make sure that our wonderful live audience audience members out here can hear what you're saying. Okay? So let's go ahead and get going with the intros, candidates for District B. Joshua, you have 60 seconds to let us know who you are. Your opening.
Good evening. My name is Josh Moran, the current council member of District B. Devoted husband to Christine and father to Riley and Gavin. Local business owner and longtime community servant. In recent years, District B and all of St. Bernard has experienced a remarkable transformation, earning us the distinction of being the fastest growing parish in Louisiana. Our district has been revitalized through significant beautification efforts, making it an even more attractive place to call home. As we look to the future and anticipate changes in leadership, it's essential to recognize that the experience will be instrumental in maintaining our positive trajectory. As your council member for District B, I am deeply committed to building upon the achievements and ensuring our prosperous future for our community. Together, we can continue to make District B a great place to live, work, and raise our families.
Thank you, Joshua. Earl.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Earl Dotry. I'm a lifelong resident of District B. Been married 44 years. I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren, and all of my family are residents of St. Bernard Parish. I earned a degree in petroleum engineering in 1977 and went on to work in the oil business as I earned a state certificate as pipe fitter and a state certificate as electrician and became a master electrician. I retired after 28 years and I became a part-time educator in electrical technology, here teaching at Nunez for 5 years. I'm also an LPS parishioner for 66 years, and I taught catechism at Our Lady of Prom Suck for 17 years, and I participated as a school board member for 12 years, and I was also the chair for 4 years, I'm sorry. In '94, I was appointed as District B Planning Commission member, served for 24 years with distinction, 20 years as chairman. We revised the Code of Ordinances. We crafted a master plan and an economic development plan for St. Bernard Parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Earl. We're going to go to question 1 here, and I'll come back to you, Josh.
Okay.
Joshua. So, as you know, it's unique that a councilman has a community college in your jurisdiction. And in the face of potential disasters and emergencies, what vision do you have for the community college as part of a resiliency plan to work in unison with our parish government to support residents following a natural disaster?
You know, being the current council member for Zeta in the last couple storms and the tornadoes, I was able to see firsthand how essential it is to make sure that we stand up resiliency areas really fast. Nunez Community College could be a great hub for that, right? They have power, they have electrical, they are ready to go as soon as we need, but you know what they have? They have leaders, people that can get the job done, to meet with the community and make sure that we're all on the same page. We need to work together in St. Bernard to make sure in times of storm events and all other disasters that we're working to make sure that we get our community back together as soon as possible. They have the needs and the resources that they need, and that everything that we can do as a community to better it and to bring it back, we have to make sure we're doing that.
All right, thank you for that, Josh. Mr. Earl?
Yes, I would like to, first of all, work with the Office of Emergency Preparedness and make sure that the Office of Emergency Preparedness is properly stocked with supplies, and that we have the right schedule out where we can go out into the community and distribute ice and water and the things that people need after a storm. And also work with the Office of Emergency Preparedness to provide some storm shelters in the school system and the storm shelters that we've used over the years, and try to work with those schools and community people and partners, and also to try to get businesses invested in leaving opening their business as soon as they can after a storm, so that we'll have provisions like groceries and gasoline and stuff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to stick with you, Earl, and I'll let you have the first shot at this one. Based upon crime statistics, Nunez Community College is one of the safest college campuses in our region. How will you work with local entities to ensure safety and security is a priority for St. Bernard Parish?
Well, first of all, the St. Bernard Sheriff's Office is mainly responsible for the safety and security of our parish. but I would work with Sheriff Pullman and his team to make sure that all of our schools have the proper protection that's needed. Nunez, of course, is a great safe school, and they have a great team of security personnel here. I just would like to work with the school board and with local community leaders to make sure that we do have our schools protected properly for whatever incident might happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua.
Could you repeat the question?
I sure can, and I should have mentioned that if you ever need me to repeat a question, that is totally within your right, so please ask. It's based upon reported crime statistics. Nunez Community College is one of the safest college campuses in this region. How would you work with local entities to ensure safety and security is a priority in St. Bernard Parish?
Right. Right now, the Sheriff's Department does a terrific job, right? A lot of the things that are going on in the schools that get bad publicity is about we need personal responsibility in St. Bernard across the board. But what we can do as individuals and the leaders in St. Bernard is one thing we are already working with the Sheriff's Department and working with other businesses in St. Bernard to make sure it happens. One of the local businesses has a camera program that they're looking to have invested into local business and residents to be able to give the Sheriff's Department other accesses to be able to track crime as it's happening in real time and be able to, we're catching the bad guys. But along with that, we can make sure that our leaders are inside of these community organizations. We meet weekly, monthly with different organizations to make sure we have our finger on whatever the pulse is and whatever to make the things that have to happen in that community.
Okay. All right, and we're going to hear your closing remarks for 60 seconds. We'll go Mr. Joshua and then Mr. Earl. And let's start with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on the threshold of the future, let us remember that our progress thus far has been a collective achievement. I, Josh Moran, our council member for District B, pledge to keep working tirelessly alongside all of you. One of the most important responsibilities is to build a future that not only benefits us, but also paves the way for all of the youth. We must ensure that District B remains a place where our children can thrive, where they can dream big and achieve even bigger. By enhancing our overall quality of life, creating opportunities, and fostering a safer environment, we can provide the foundation upon which our youth can build their own success. Together, we can nurture the growth, preserve the beauty, secure the prosperity, and ensure a high quality of life for the next generation of District B residents. Thank you for your trust and support in this journey.
Thank you. Closing statement, Mr. Earl.
Yes. Recently, walking through District B and talking to residents, their main concern was they wanted a councilman who always be accessible by phone, email, or text. As your councilman, because I'm semi-retired, I'll be available to discuss and address important issues or concerns facing all parish residents. My email address is letselectearl@gmail.com, and I have a lifetime of community service and the experience and knowledge needed to protect the future for our parish. So remember, on October the 14th, let's elect Earl, number 64. Thank you.
Well, candidates for District B, thank you for being with us, and we're really honored that you're here, and thanks for being willing to serve the parish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good evening.
Good. You'll notice that you have a microphone in front of you. And if you could grab that microphone, we'll use it up there. My name is Slie. I'm a professor of theater here at Nunez Community College, and I also am the department program chair for the Louisiana Transfer Degree. I'm joined on my right by our student government president, John Tsai. I'll explain to you a little bit about how the format's going to work, and then we'll want to jump into the questions. So we're welcoming now candidates for District C. And so what's going to happen here is that each of you is going to be given 60 seconds for an introduction. And then we'll have 60 seconds apiece for 2 questions we'll ask, and then we'll have 60 seconds for a closing. John here is going to help with time. And so when you see this yellow sign, that means you have 20 seconds left. and then the second time he picks up that sign, it'll be a red sign, and that'll be time. Okay? I'll alter the way I ask you questions so nobody will have to go in the same line. With that, we would ask that you speak in the microphone, both for the benefit of the people who are here in the live audience, but also we are, as you know, live streaming this as well. So if you can speak into the microphone when you speak up. So why don't we start here with you, Carly, and we'll get your 60-second introduction beginning now.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today, and thanks Nunez for hosting us. My name is Carly. I relocated to St. Bernard from the West Bank about 11 years ago, as I wanted to live in a community with strong public schools for my children and have never looked back. Since moving here, I have taken every opportunity to be an active member of our community and give back. I have completed multiple park renovations, tree plantings, served on the Parks and Parkways Commission, coached soccer, and spearheaded the traffic art boxes. I am a mom and have worked in the legal and insurance fields for the last 20 years and am currently serving in my second term on the St. Bernard Parish School Board. My experience has provided me with a unique set of tools and insight that will allow me to easily transition into serving you in a new capacity as councilperson for District C. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly. Cynthia.
Hello? Hello? Hi, my name is Cindy Meyer, and I am a proud lifelong resident of our amazing parish, and I've always wanted to see this parish thrive. I'm a Republican candidate that knows how to lead by example. I'm 100% invested in this parish and district. My intention is to see growth and unity in our district and parish. I believe in transparency and integrity. I promise to be a leader you can trust and that will listen to you. I have vast business experience as well as an abundant volunteer experience. I am not only committed, but I have the ability to make the tough decisions when needed. My background with insurance industry and as an insurance agent, I can ensure fiscal integrity and accountability for our district. In addition, I'm also able to lead our district in the unfortunate facing of our claims and disaster management. I'm in our schools 2 to 3 times per week and have firsthand experience with our future generations and have the knowledge I need to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Joseph.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here tonight. I'm Joe Montalbano, candidate, District C, a lifelong resident of St. Bernard, 18 years of that in District C. I'm married 41 years with 2 grandchildren, 4 beautiful grandchildren. I'm sorry, 2 children, 4 beautiful grandchildren. I have 43 years experience in management of a design-build contractor responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars of projects in place with fixed budgets and schedules. These projects were private, commercial, industrial, public, and federal. The last few were mostly in emergency management and homeland security. My education, experience, and skill set best suits me for this job. I feel I'm the best candidate to represent District C. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. We're going to come right to Cindy. We'll start off with you here. The first question that we're asking all the candidates, I'll state. If you need the question repeated at any point in the process, please ask and we'll do so. Okay? So question 1 here is that transportation is a challenge for many college students. How would you improve transportation options in St. Bernard?
Well, in order to improve the transportation, you will have to network and have a relationship built with some of the other entities involved. It's not something that a District C council member alone would be able to achieve, but it's through the relationships that have been built and the networking that will need to happen to fulfill that. I think it is important. I think it is an issue in the district and in the parish as well, and I would support any endeavor in trying to provide more adequate transportation for our community.
Thank you. Carly, how about we come over to you next? Would you need the question repeated?
Yes, please.
Okay. Transportation is a challenge for many college students. How would you improve transportation options in St. Bernard Parish?
So, as a council person, you have little control over the administrative function of transportation. However, with good partnerships and communication with the administration, I think that there are some things that could be improved upon. I think that the recent partnership with RTA that has allowed the buses to come into the parish for purposes of coming to Nunez specifically, the Walmart, and for medical care has been really a vast improvement over what was available before, making Nunez more accessible to more students, which ultimately is a benefit to our parish. Thank you.
Joseph.
Yes, sir. As far as providing transportation for the students here, we already have RTA running down here, gets the students from Orleans. I believe that we could partnership possibly with St. Bernard Parish School Board. There's dozens of school buses sitting over there, some unused. We could also partner up with Spurt. I'm sure if given the opportunity, I could champion that and work something out between the entities where I could get bus service running within the parish to get students here. Thank you.
We're going to go move on to question 2. Carly, I'll start with you this time. So community college students, they typically live and work within a 20-mile radius of a community college. And the mission of our institution here is to provide high-wage, high-demand jobs to graduates. What strategies would you employ to recruit and retain businesses and industries to our parish and region so our graduates don't have to leave to secure high-quality jobs?
Thank you. So I think continuing to work and having relationships with EDF and the Chamber to attract industries that make sense for our community, that would be an asset to our community, is important. Again, as a council person, you don't really have a lot of control over that, but having conversations, being a spokesperson, continuing relationships, providing funding for EDF, and helping those entities do what they do best, and just being a support system for them is what's going to help bring more businesses, again, that make sense for our community, because not every business is a good fit for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to come over to Joseph now. Joseph, you have the right to have the question repeated. You good?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joseph.
Sure, coming from the construction industry, right there alone could provide hundreds of jobs in the fields that you teach here, carpentry, HVAC, electrical. Those jobs all pay 6 figures. Construction's no longer a low-paying job. Also, we could pick up people in construction management, assistant construction management programs here, drafting, design drafting, engineering. You could partner with ABC. It's one of the largest construction groups out there that train people, and there is a desperate need for people in construction alone. And if given the opportunity, I'd be glad to champion that. I'm fully retired. I'm looking for something to do. Thank you.
Cindy.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I'd be happy to. Community college students typically live and work within a 20-mile radius, and the mission of our institution is to provide high-wage, high-demand jobs to our graduates. So what strategies would you employ to recruit and retain businesses and industries to our parish and our region so that our graduates don't have to leave to secure high-quality jobs?
Well, being a business owner, hello? Hello? Being a business owner, I've had 2 businesses already in St. Bernard Parish, so I am pro-business, I am pro-economic growth, I am pro-economic development. I've sat on that board before. So again, using your relationships that have been built, building strategies. I would love to see more internship programs as well. I've always said this for a long time. I feel like the students will come out of whether it's school, college, and they still don't understand certain basic concepts and life skills. I feel that when they're actually working in, whether it's an insurance agency, whether it's construction, whether it's any industry, it's you're giving them that internship, that hands-on experience that they need They need us to pour into them. They need us to be able to teach them the gifts and talents and skill sets and business acumen that they will need to succeed. So I will support every endeavor to bring in economic growth.
Thank you. We're going to go to our closing statements now, and I'll come down from Joseph to Cindy, and we'll finish with you, Carly. So, Mr. Joseph, if you want to give us your closing statement.
Thank you. If elected Council District C, I will put people first. I will work to bridge the divisions in our parish, fight to protect property values, stand and stop Port Nola, fight the rising cost of insurance, increase code enforcement, support our commercial fishermen, stand and address the issues in our schools, bring diversity, equality, and inclusiveness to the forefront in governing, support Nunez Community College and its continued growth and success, bring back the leisure programs shuttered by COVID, expand our recreation offerings to include adult activities, push to implement ADA compliance in our parish, support our sheriff, district attorney, and courts that keep us safe. Vote number 70, Joe Montalbano, one parish, one people.
Thank you, Mr. Montalbano. Cindy?
I would like to thank everyone for hosting this event. I would like to thank my opponents for giving their time as well. In addition to our current council and administration, I'm committed to actively and continually listening to the people's voices and concerns so that they can trust me in our parish government. I'm eager to take St. Bernard Parish to the next level with new ideas, new direction, and new leadership. In my business, I get an opportunity to speak with residents daily. I enjoy hearing about their great experiences and emphasize with those that are frustrated. I want to empower residents to grow in hope and not lose faith in our local government and our ability to follow through. My heart is deeply embedded in this community. I have the leadership, passion, and knowledge to listen to you and to make the necessary changes. I will create a culture of hope while leaving a legacy of excellence. Let's not be content with complacency or the status quo, to be encouraged to make St. Bernard the best it can be. I will also encourage, if anyone is undecided on their vote, reach out to me and let's have a cup of coffee. Let's have a conversation, because this is about you, not me. God bless you, and I appreciate your consideration for vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer.
My campaign did not begin when I qualified on August 8th. My attendance at meetings and community events hasn't changed because I am now looking for votes. I am as involved today as I was 90 days ago and will be 90 days from now. Be wary of big promises. They can lead to big disappointments. Your candidate should be clear on what the job they are applying to entails. Everyone loves low insurance rates and great schools, me too. However, council members have little to zero power to address those issues. I prefer to stay in my lane and focus on things that I have control over for the people that I represent. You deserve honest, straightforward, educated, and experienced representation. I am that person. Again, I appreciate your time and your consideration in voting for me to continue to represent you as your next council person for District C. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, and thank you to everyone from the candidates from District C. We really appreciate your willingness to serve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcoming the candidates for District D. How y'all doing?
All right, how are you?
My name is Nick Slie. I'm a professor of theater and video production here at Nunez Community College. I'm also the program chair for the Louisiana transfer degrees. I'm joined to my right by our student government president, John Tsai. John's going to be helping us out with the time. So I'm going to let you know a little bit about the format, and then we'll jump into the introductions and questions. We are going to give each of you 60 seconds to introduce yourselves. You'll have 60 seconds apiece to answer 2 questions, and then you'll get 60 seconds for your closing remarks. John here will raise the yellow sign when there's 20 seconds left. So 20 seconds then, and then there's going to be a red sign here for when we just would like you to finish your thoughts. You have a microphone in front of you. You can make sure that that is on. You can leave it on the whole time. We would ask that you just speak into the microphone, both for the benefit of the people who are here to witness this live, and also the people on the live stream. Because it's being pushed to YouTube. That makes sense to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, again, we appreciate you being here. I'll start maybe here with Mr. Cyrus, and I'll let you do your opening remarks. We'll move down, and then I'll switch up the order as we go. So, Mr. Cyrus, your opening remarks, please.
Good evening. Glad to have me. Glad to be here. Glad to be around the presence of my people, Seminole Parish, a wonderful parish I love. My name is Cyrus Sylvester. I'm married to Leslie Green Sylvester. I have my daughter, Libra Green, Aiden. I have Marlon, Sylvia, and Naria. I'm a long resident Violet. I've been here a long time. I'm a person that loves this parish. I want things to be done the correct way. I'm a voice for the people. I'm here to work for you. Whatever needs to be done in this district and for you, I work hard to do it. I work hard, and I'm gonna do. I will get the job complete. I guarantee you. All I need to do is give me a chance to show me what I'm about. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Mr. Cyrus. We'll come to you, Mr. Ryan.
All right. Thank you for hosting this event today. My name is Ryan Randall. I'm running for Council District D. I've been married to my amazing wife, Catherine, for the last 15 years. I'm a lifelong resident, not only of St. Bernard Parish, but of District D. Being the chair of the Planning Commission, a member of the St. Bernard Parish Charter Commission, I have amassed over 10 years of government experience in St. Bernard Parish with transparency and integrity. Also, with years of experience in neighborhood associations and with college programs, I have amassed over 20 years of following Robert's Rules of Order. I have a bachelor's degree from UNO in Urban and Public Affairs, but the most important part of that is my emphasis of land use and disaster management, two things that are incredibly important to St. Bernard. Imagine having a person with a degree in planning and land use to represent you in a fight against a port project. I am that person. I will say it again. I am the most qualified, experienced, and educated person for the honor of representing District D, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Mr. Andrew.
I'm gonna talk a little bit back. Sometimes when I'm passionate, I get animate, and I'm loud. Apologize in advance. My name's Andrew Hunt Jr. I'm running for Councilman #1. I love our community, I truly do. It has made a young man very successful that just was full of work ethic and wanting to get the job done. I've been married to my wife for 16 years. We've been together for 24. I have 2 kids. One goes to Davies, great school, and also Trist, another great school. So when it comes to getting the job done, I have accounting and finance background. I don't need the practice when it comes to encumbrances and expenditures. We can look through that and make sure that our dollar is walking as far as it needs to. Because I don't know about you, right now we're getting hit every time we go to the grocery store and everything else. Well, parish government is going to be getting hit as well. So when it comes to that experience, that's what I do. Also, when it comes to development and putting things together, as far as real estate and everything, you know, I've been doing that for quite some time as well, and I would love to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move into the question portion here. And we'll start with you, Mr. Ryan. I'm going to state the question, but if you want to repeat it at any point in the process, when it comes to your turn, please ask. So, it is very unique that a councilman who has a community college in your jurisdiction, in the face of potential disasters or emergencies, what vision do you have for the community college as part of a resiliency plan to work in unison with our parish government to support our residents following a natural disaster? Mr. Ryan.
Well, the first thing you need is a plan. You need a 1-week plan, a 72-hour plan, a 48-hour plan, and a 24-hour plan. When you reach the 24-hour plan, you need to be prepared for whatever is coming. The important part of what you just asked in being prepared and working together, it's all about a plan. It's actually what my degree is in urban and public affairs, and one of my emphasis is disaster management. The largest part of disaster management is pre, during, and post planning. You can get into a bunch of specifics, but at the end of the day, everything that functions in those hours of need has to come from the plan that you have developed. St. Bernard Parish has a very effective emergency operations center. It's led by government and our amazing police department. And following those plans to the T is what would gather and amount to success.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Ms. Andrew, how about you?
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, so the question is that it's unique that a councilman would have a community college in your jurisdiction. In the face of potential disasters or emergencies, what vision do you have for the community college to be a part of a resiliency plan, working in unison with parish government to support our residents following a natural disaster?
Well, if you're asking me how would I be a part of the resiliency plan, well, that's something that you're going to rely on everybody coming together and being able to deliberate and put it together to where, you know, it can make sense. Now, as far as a councilman doing these things, yeah, we definitely can be a part of it, but I would say the major part of what a councilman's job is making sure that the $66 million budget is allocated correctly. And when we're talking about the budget, I think there should be some allocations so to make sure that we are prepared and ready. Since we've already been through it once, make sure that see exactly what we already have in place and make sure that, hey, maybe we can build on this and make it even better.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Mr. Cyrus, speak.
My thing is we should have, now this is a plan, I believe we should be having awareness what's going on, listening to the news reporters, listening to the government, our government here, coming together with our federal government and doing what they told us to do. And some people might be elderly, some people can't do things for themselves. Awareness is looking out for your neighbor, looking out for each other. You make sure everybody's out safely and get where they need to get out of harm's way, danger way. So what I'm saying is not only is it a plan, it's being awareness, being aware of this only yourself, with the people around you, surroundings, and people that's with you, around you. And just show them, you know, it's about coming together with love and being together for each other. And I think we need to do that more here. It'll be aware of each other, you know what I'm saying? It's just coming together because this is a wonderful parish and beautiful people. And we come back. Look, we came back from Katrina. How we came back? By coming together with each other, with love. And we work with each other, work hard, and we did it.
Thank you. On this second question, I'll start here with Mr. Andrew. So Nunez Community College, so our Nunez Community College, our students, our faculty, and our staff represent a 7-parish region. 7 parishes that we draw upon. How would you engage our college community at large in decision-making processes?
Well, you know, when you come into decision-making processes, that's pretty broad, right? But what I can tell you is, as far as the people that are leading Nunez and everything, I think they're doing a great job. And whenever you're dealing with 7 parishes, we are so blessed as a very small parish, probably one of the smallest in the state, to actually have a community college. So right there, that's a blessing. And I think it is a major resource for not only our parish, but regionally for other parishes. Just like you said, there's 7 total parishes that actually will come in here and see firsthand what St. Bernard has to offer, and at the same time be educated. So any type of resources that make sense for us to have Nunez to be more on the map and be able to expand their, you know, make regionally go a little bit farther. You know, instead of 7 parishes, it makes sense economically for 9 or 10 parishes so that we can grow this thing. This is one of our jewels that St. Bernard has, and I will fully support any efforts that make sense to make it even be greater.
Thank you, Ms. Andrew. How about you, Mr. Cyrus? Would you like me to repeat the question, or you feel good with it?
I feel good with it, sir. My thing is about this is school. Show them that what these students pertain to academically, how they are becoming, achieving their goals. They come here, they get educated, and it's a beautiful college where people come here, feel comfortable, don't have to worry about nothing. They can come here, get educated, they got the right tools, the right environment, the right teachers that love them, the teachers that are interested in them, interested in the teacher, and they come with a common goal. They might have come here not thinking that, when we get out of school, you say you got the same thing, you got silliness in you, but when you come here, you got one teacher that'll mold you. And this are teachers in here that mold you and make you a better person, better individual. And when you leave out here, you get in the workforce and you will be impact the workforce, impact the government, impact the society. And it's a wonderful place for people to come to get educated because they have wonderful teachers that's dedicated to the students, and the students will be dedicated to get their education to learn and go in the environment and be successful.
Thank you, Mr. Cyrus. Mr. Ryan.
So engaging with leaders across 7 parishes would never be an easy feat. So you would have forums similar to this where you can engage with your school leaders into your populace of your school. Y'all are live streaming right now. It's a great way to reach people who can't be here. Another option is very simple, email. If you have to engage with people on a level that is across 7 parishes, it is leadership decisions are going to be made broadly. So you have to act broadly to include everyone. This forum, live streaming, great example of that. Going one step further, using email for responses. Documenting emails with transparency obviously is important. But this is a jewel, like so many people have said. I have several members of my family who have graduated from here. My father, my mother-in-law, my godmother, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to finish it off with your closing remarks, and now I'll say let's go from Mr. Cyrus on over to Mr. Andrew. So we'll go Cyrus, Ryan, and Andrew. We'll close. Closing remarks.
My name is Cyrus Sylvester. I'm the man with the voice for the people of District D. I will work hard for you to get the job done. I guarantee you I'll work hard, come in your neighborhoods, see what needs to be done. I've been here all my life. I've been promised a lot of politicians walk through these doors. Promise you a lot of things. Say they're gonna do a lot of things. Come on, people of District D. We've been hoodwinked, we've been boogwinked, we've been lied to, and we've been mishandled. But I'm a guy that come here. It's not about money, it's about you. I care for the people of St. Bernard Parish. I care for District D. I want to make changes for you, make you feel good to be in District D and things that need to be done for you. And I guarantee you, it's a task, it's effort, and it's progress. And I will give you a lot of progress. I'll work hard at the task, and I guarantee you, I will make you happy and I'll make you proud. All I ask you is give me a chance. Don't look at what kind of person I am or how I look. Look at the person that get the job done. That's what it's all about, getting the job done. And I guarantee I will do it.
Thank you, Cyrus. Mr. Ryan.
All right, once again, thank you for your time tonight. In previous forums, I've mentioned my experience in working for multiple Fortune 500 companies and managing multi-million-dollar budgets to be prepared for managing St. Bernard's budget. I've mentioned being a founding member of the St. Bernard Parish Cooking Connection, traveling to disaster-affected areas and feeding people free of charge. I've said that I have no desire to be a politician. I want to be the leader that District D needs. Lastly, I said I truly do not like sitting up here and telling people why I'm a better man than these 2 good men sitting next to me. Boasting is not in my nature. What I do want to say right now is that experience is going to be very important. We will have a new parish president and the possibility of max returning 3 members of our current council. Being able to step in and be effective is going to be critical. That is why I'm humbly asking for your vote on October 14th, Ryan Randall, number 73 for District D.
My name is Andrew Hunt, and I want this job, not because I need a job. It's because the job needs to get done, and I promise you, with my fullest might, that I will get this job done. I will be able to work with anyone when it comes to the budget. I will be able to sniff out anything that doesn't make sense to where our dollars aren't being allocated correctly. I have a finance and accounting background. That's what I went to school for. That's what I do at my office on Performance Mortgage when it comes to putting it together. So when it comes to the budget, which, you know, a lot of these questions were really out of the scope of what a councilman can do besides be a voice, be there for them, you know, for different constituents and stuff, and reason there. But as far as the power, most of what a councilman is going to do is going to be the budget. And I promise you, when it comes to the budget, I've run million-dollar budgets, multi-million-dollar budgets that I own and control to make sure that our employees are fed, their 401ks are fed, everything else goes as planned. And when it's time to tighten it up, I know how to do that at the same time, but still keep the gas in the engine going. And I humbly ask for your vote, and I appreciate y'all having me here tonight. I'm so grateful for this parish, and I am grateful for this community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the candidates from District E, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. So have a good evening. you so much.
You too, thank you.
Back to the street. Appreciate you, brother. You look sharp. Appreciate you. All right.
Good evening, Travis. How you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. How are y'all?
We appreciate you being with us tonight. So we're welcoming now the candidates for District E. And Travis, my name is Nick Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez Community College and the program chair for the Louisiana transfer degree. I'm joined by John Tsai here, who is the student government president. So I'll explain to you a little bit about how it's going to go. You're going to get 60 seconds for an introduction.
Okay.
And then we'll ask you 2 questions.
All right.
You get 60 seconds to opt for those.
Okay.
And then some closing remarks.
Simple enough.
Yeah, since you're the only candidate here too, if you go just 2 seconds over 60, we're not going to ding you for that.
It's all right.
And that's how it'll be. John's going to hold up the sign just to let you know around you where you are at time. 20 seconds is going to be the yellow sign. Red would be the closing. So if you wanted to start off and just give us your opening remarks, let us know a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Travis Thurman. I'm running for councilman, District E, down the road. I was born and raised here. I attended Nunez and Texas A&M. I'm a commercial fisherman, and I own a land development company that just recently opened up. The reason I'm running is I want to keep the way of life down in District E the same. It could definitely get better, but I don't want it to change to go other places. The same matter. I know there's a lot of problems in the permit office. There's a lot of problems with the compliance department. We got a lot of safety issues, including the fire department, which is a big deal. There's a lot of stuff that I think we can do to change District E and make it great.
All right, Travis, thank you. So here's your questions, 2 of them. The first one's about transportation, and transportation is a challenge for many of our students. And so what are some ways that you would work to improve transportation options in St. Bernard?
Would that be transportation to come to the school or transportation for the whole parish?
I think you could focus on either one.
Okay, definitely transportation, it could be an issue, I know there's not a lot of advertisement on the public school buses and the public buses from St. Bernard. There's no lights there, it's run down, we definitely take a look at that, maybe put some signs up for it. Our roads are definitely an issue, but that's pretty much the whole state of Louisiana. We could definitely put up some more signs. We have a huge issue with people going on the wrong way on Highway 46 down the road. Is it because of lights? Is it because of no signs? We could definitely do something like that to help the transportation situation in St. Bernard.
Thank you. And then the second question is based upon reported crime statistics. Nunez Community College is one of the safest colleges in the region. The question is, how would you work with local entities to ensure safety and security is a priority in St. Bernard Parish?
We could definitely maybe help the sheriff department out a little bit, try to see what kind of situations they're having, try to see how we can improve on them situations to make them not happen. I know when I went to Nunez, it was a really safe college. We never had any issues here, unlike Texas A&M, but bigger school, a lot more people. We can definitely, issues like that, I feel, start at the family. It's upbringing, it's parenting, stuff like that. You can't correct somebody when they're an adult. You see, if you start correcting them as a child, you can help them out and prevent a young adult from making a horrible, bad decision in their life. So that's kind of how I feel on that.
Okay. Those are the 2 questions. If you want to take some time to do your closing remarks, just let us know what you want to say.
Like I said, I'm deciding to run for councilman. I'm very educated. I very well known, very liked. I help a lot of people out when I can. That includes picking up some boats for free. It goes on and on and on. I do a lot of debris remove people for free that need the help that just don't have the funds, unfortunately. I would like to improve District E in a lot of ways. I don't want my 4 beautiful kids that I got to grow up in a place where there's nothing to do activity-wise. We don't have no bowling alleys, skating rinks, movie theaters. Every time I want to bring my kids to do something, I got to go outside of the parish. And so, that's a lot of money that we're spending outside the parish that could stay within the parish and help our young children grow up to better adults. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Travis, for running in District E, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
They're a bit bright. Lights are off. They are.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for being with us. We're welcoming the council at large candidates for the West, Mr. Howard, Mr. Gillis. My name is Nick Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez Community College. I'm the program chair of the Louisiana Transfer Degree, joined by John Tsai as our student government president. We thank you for being with us tonight. I'll explain to you a little bit of the format and we'll jump right into it. We're going to give each of you a chance to introduce yourself for a minute. We'll have 3 questions for you. Each will be answered in a minute or less. And then you'll have some closing remarks. There's a microphone right in front of you. If you could grab it, you can make sure it's on, and you can leave it on the whole time. Just make sure you're speaking into the mic for the benefit of the people in the audience and the live stream. Because it's going on to live stream now. John's going to help you with the time. When you see the yellow sign, it's 20 seconds. When you see the red sign, it'll be time to just close up the thought. Y'all good with that?
Yep.
All right. So let's just start it off, and then I'll start with you, Howard. If you want to just give your opening remarks, there's 60 seconds or less. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, and thank you to Nunez for hosting the forum. My name is Howard Luna. I am currently the council person for District C. I've been in that position for 8 years now. I'm a graduate of the University of New Orleans. I have a BS in finance. Been married for 43 years, 3 children, 5 grandchildren. Lived here all my life. And again, I've been a council person for 8 years, and I can tell you being an effective council person is all about time to put into the job. It's being responsive to the people, answering their questions, and then finding solutions for their concerns. I know sometimes we tend to, particularly on a district level, it's very easy for us to handle those concerns, but when we roll to a parish-wide level, it's hard to paint every district the same because they're all, while we have commonalities between the districts, they are different between, for example, Arabi and Delacroix. And so as an at-large person, to understand what those uniquenesses are and what those differences are, and understanding and defining them and helping people out is what I think is the important part of the job. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gillis.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Gillis McCluskey, and I'm running for council at Large West. Thank you to the college for hosting this event tonight. The work that we do here with regard to workforce development is the future of St. Bernard Parish. I've had the good fortune to work with many of you to create programs to help prepare our region's workforce to be successful in a changing economy. As councilman District A over the past 8 years, I developed the Invest St. Bernard program, which highlighted targeted industries and created tax incentives to encourage companies to relocate to St. Bernard. If elected, I intend to market our community to the commercial sector, remove barriers to entry for new businesses, and leverage the growth in the residential sector. Workforce development will be a big part of my plan over the next 4 years, and Nunez Community College will play a crucial role in the success of our parish. I'd like to continue the work that I started as your next council at Large West. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gillis. Let's start and stay with you, Mr. Gillis. We're going to answer the first question, which is that transportation is a challenge for many of our students and for many college students. How would you work to improve transportation options in St. Bernard Parish?
Thank you for the question. I've had the good fortune recently here to work with our transportation department in St. Bernard Parish. We have been able to leverage grant funding, and in doing so, increase salaries for every person in that department and increase services while reducing the actual expenditure of St. Bernard Parish government. I do believe that if we were to focus on supporting Nunez Community College with our transportation goals from within St. Bernard Parish, it'll be a more, what's the word I'm looking for? It will be a more intimate conversation. We'll be able to better describe the needs from each of us to each other. And I think it'll be a more successful entity. And I do believe that every opportunity that we have to support both the local business and our local services intermittently between each other will be a success for St. Bernard Parish. And I do believe that we don't have to outsource those programs. I think we can handle that from within. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say to both of you that you can have the question repeated at any moment if you'd like. Mr. Howard, would you like
I'm
the
fine.
question?
I'm fine.
Yeah,
Thank you. I've been intimately involved with the transit system here. I think there are some basic services that parish government needs to provide, not only for students, but for residents as well. And part of that is to understand, are we effective at what we're doing today? Are we meeting the needs of the riders, right? And students, not only students, but our normal residents as well. I have sponsored legislation that takes the revenue that we get from advertising on the transit buses to actually put back into the system so that we actually are looking at putting more covered shelters so that people who have to wait for the bus aren't waiting out in the rain, and those kind of things to improve the service. I do think that there are ways that we can improve what we do, again, by understanding how the system runs, understanding what the needs are, but more importantly, talking to the people so that we can do and design a system that works for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll stay with you, Mr. Howard. The second question in that it's very unique to have, you'll be a council person who has a community college in your jurisdiction. And so in the face of potential disasters and emergencies, what vision do you have for the community college as part of a resiliency plan that works in unison with the parish government to support our residents during natural disasters?
Well, during a natural disaster, obviously, we need all forms or all pieces of the government working together. Right now, Nunez College is unique, just like our school system is unique. It has the facilities and the people and students here that are willing to help people out. I think integrating that whole system together to figure out when their natural disaster does happen, how do we respond to it? What are the needs of the people? And not only that, but importantly, what do we need to do to get people back on their feet again? And so I think that developing a plan that integrates the things that you have here, and again, like the buildings and the students and so forth, integrating that into the entire plan works for all of us. I think we too much in the past have kind of not paid attention to Nunez. When you hear people talk about education down here, we tend to talk about the high schools and the school system. And Nunez is a big part of what we do and what we can offer people, particularly the students that live here as far as the next step, and anyone wishing to live and move here, right, as part of what we have as an educational system. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Gillis?
Well, I want to take the time to commend the college on its foresight, right? So first and foremost, in collaboration with parish government, the parish has developed a disaster recovery training program to educate the workforce here in St. Bernard Parish to be prepared in the event of a disaster. We've also implemented training programs to support our coastal department, right? So that's a preventative measure, which is critically important to minimizing the effects of a particular disaster before it happens. So that's an incredible amount of foresight. As a councilman, I have supported the creation of new programs here at the community college to prepare our workforce to be ready to meet the needs of businesses that might be interested in relocating to St. Bernard. And lastly, I think it's critically important that each of the facilities here have the backup structure that they need to be minimally operational in the event of a disaster so that they can support the community if available to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll stick with you, Mr. Gillis, and ask, what's your top 3 priorities if elected?
Thank you. My top 3 priorities are fight the poor, lower insurance rates, and economic development here in St. Bernard Parish. I think that we have the opportunity here in St. Bernard to take control of some building codes that will have a direct impact on the insurance rates that our residents are paying. There's really no bigger barrier to entry that St. Bernard Parish is uniquely facing outside of insurances. For instance, Jefferson Parish was able to lower their relative insurance rates as opposed to other municipalities adjacent to them by 20% by enrolling in the CRS program and being aggressive about it. I believe St. Bernard Parish needs to be particularly aggressive about that. And with regard to economic development, we need to shape our own future. We need to tell others what we want here in St. Bernard and create marketing programs and tax incentives that capture those businesses' attention and make them interested in locating in St. Bernard Parish. And I believe that we have a great plan started, and I would like to continue that work as council at large. Thank you.
Mr. House, the same question for you.
Thank you. There are certain things out there that are long-term, like coastal erosion, that are going to impact us and your family and future generations that we need to continue to at least have a voice at the table. But there are certain things within the community that we need to continue to work on. One is stormwater management. And again, while we're comfortable with the fact that maybe stormwater surge is not that much of a concern anymore, a rain event is a huge concern for us. And it's getting the water from the canals or to the streets into the canals to the pumping stations. So stormwater drainage and how we manage water is huge for us. Compliance is a big thing. We've understaffed our compliance department. I truly believe that compliance applies to everyone, not just some people, right? We have laws already in place. So all we need to do is start enforcing them. And finally, economic development, we talk about it, but there has to be a balance between economic development and quality of life. Hitting the home run doesn't work for us, right? We've seen that. The port, people would say it's the home run. It's not going to work for us. So finding economic development, finding the ones that balance between what's important to us is what I'll work on. Thank you.
Great, so thank you for those answers. We're going to do our closing remarks. Mr. Howard, we'll go with you. We'll come to Mr. Gillis in just 1 minute for your closing remarks, please.
Great. Thank you to Nunez. I'm going to ask that you look beyond the 5 minutes that we've spent up here. I'm going to ask that you look beyond the signs that are on the road, and that you do your part in finding out what's important for you and asking the candidate some questions. If you can't get a hold of the candidate, then look at particularly with Gillis and myself, look at the council meetings. Look at those things. Look at what we discussed. Look at the past 8 years that we've been in office and what we've accomplished. Okay, because you'll hear a lot of things up here, promises moving forward, but you don't know what coming forward until you find out where we've been. And so, again, I challenge the people to look at the candidates, figure out what's important for you, figure out what they've done, how they respond to you. Do they have the time dedicated for the job? Because an at-large job is entirely different than a district job. It takes that much more time and effort to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Mr. Gillis?
Thank you. My father was born in Narrabee and has enjoyed a long career in law enforcement and entrepreneurship. My mother was born in Delacroix Island. My grandfather, uncles, cousins were all commercial fishermen. My family and business background afford me a unique perspective that I will implement a vision for our future. St. Bernard is the beneficiary of being home to lush fisheries and one of the largest film studios in the Gulf South. I see the future of St. Bernard Parish economic development not in a port, but in the creation of an ecosystem of businesses that support the creative arts and a thriving commercial and recreational fishing industry. Additionally, I see Starbucks and Chick-fil-A responding to our increased residential populations and increased median incomes. I intend to market our brand to those companies and bring the types of businesses to St. Bernard that will ensure our residents have both career and retail options. Nunez Community College is a critical component to my vision for our parish's future. I thank you for having me tonight. My name is Gillis McCluskey, and I'm asking for your vote as Council at Large West on October 14th. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanking the candidates for Council at Large West, and thank you for being with us and willing to serve. Appreciate you.
Good job.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're welcoming here the candidates for Council at Large in the East. My name is Nick Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez and the program chair for the Louisiana Transfer Degree. Joined by John, who's the student government president here, John Tsai. He's going to be helping us out with time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 1 minute for opening remarks. There'll be 3 questions after that. You'll have 60 seconds for us to answer those questions. And then there'll be a 1 minute for closing remarks. John's going to help us out with the signs. The yellow sign is you have 20 seconds left remaining to answer. And the red is time's up. You both have a microphone and it seems like you know what to do with it. So how about we start with you, Ms. Wanda. We'll open it up and ask you to just give us your opening remarks.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. I'm Wanda Alcon. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I'm serving for Council District D at the present time. I'm married to my husband Clyde. We have 3 sons, and I'm a grandmother of 5. I graduated from St. Bernard High School. I'm a certified legal secretary and certified administrative assistant. I've worked in the legal system all my life with Judge Gorberty in his law office, at the 34th JDC, and at the 4th Circuit Court of Appeal. I'm very involved in my community. I serve in several organizations like Autism Awareness Crew, Family Violence Program, St. Bernard Executive Board member of the St. Bernard Economic Development Foundation, Los Islanos Society, St. Bernard Business and Professional Women's Club, and a graduate of Leadership Class number 7. I represent the Council on the Police Jury Association, the Cable Access Committee, and the Regional Planning Commission and Film Incentive Review Committee. And I'm here because I would like to be the Council at Large East. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Warren. Mr. Fred.
My name's Fred Everard, who ever don't know me. A lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I've got 27 years of construction under my belt. I've rebuilt probably mostly all of this parish at one time or the other. I worked in it, subsurface drainage, levees, clearing and grubbing, and street repairs. Since Hurricane Katrina, I went to my grassroots. I went back to 100% being a commercial fisherman. Till today, that's what I am. I've got 3 children. My fiance is in the audience, Vicky Morales. I think my experience with my construction and my commercial fishing history suits me for what this seat is really about. You have to know from Arabi all the way down to Del Corral, my class in Shell Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just stick with you, Mr. Fred, for the first question, if that's okay. We're going to open it up with a question here that, based upon reported crime statistics, Nunez Community Colleges is one of the safest community colleges in this region. So how would you envision working with local entities to ensure that safety and security is a priority here in St. Bernard Parish?
Well, I would work closely with the Sheriff's Department and the Chancellor. Whatever the Chancellor or the Sheriff's Department needs on the council level, I will support them 100%, because this is a beautiful facility, and for the most part, it's a safe facility as it is right now. But yeah, anything that they need on the council level, I will support them.
Thank you. Ms. Wanda?
Same question. Oops.
I'd be happy to repeat the question if
Please.
you ever need it.
Please.
Yeah, the question is that, based upon reported crime statistics, Nunez is one of the safest community college campuses in our region. And so how would you work with local entities to ensure that safety and security is a priority, not only here, but in St. Bernard Parish?
Well, I agree with what Mr. Everhart says, that we need to work with our sheriff very closely, and we also need to work with Dr. Tinney as the chancellor. The school is safe. It offers great programs for anyone who is not looking for 4 years or looking to do 2 years and then move on to 4 years. So we have to keep this facility as safe as we can so that we can continue to grow our student base and continue to help people get educated. But yes, whatever we can do on the council level, I'm more than happy to help serve the college.
Thank you. The second question, I'll stick with you, Ms. Wanda, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is unique for a representative to have a community college in your jurisdiction. And so in the face of potential disasters and emergencies, what vision do you have for the community college as part of a resiliency plan that works in unison with parish government to support residents following a natural disaster?
Oh, that's a long question.
Yeah, so I could try to summarize that for you, you know.
We, whatever our plan is for whatever the plan that comes up with parish government, you know, we would be happy to work with the college. I know we would do everything, you know, that we possibly can to help the college rebuild, help it come back to where it is now, and to assure your students that they will have a place to come back to.
Can you?
Yeah, I think it's really about what vision do you have, given where we live and the different disasters and emergencies that we face. What vision do you have for the community college as part of the resiliency plan that works in unison with parish government to make sure that our citizens are served in the face of natural disasters?
Well, in case of a natural disaster, we follow a protocol. We always go to Homeland Security, and our Director of Homeland Security works with the chancellor and works with the sheriff's department and the fire department. If that comes to where the straw, say we have another, God forbid, we have another Katrina where we do have flooding here or wind or whatever, but as us as elected leaders, as the council, we have to make sure that we keep promoting and bringing back and working with the parish government and the chancellor to do whatever it takes to get the students back and promoting. If it's a media campaign or if we got to get out there and just, promote it ourselves. But Nunez Community College is a gem to St. Bernard Parish, so we have to put forth a lot of effort to get it back up and running.
Thank you. Let's start with you here, Mr. Fred. What would be your top 3 priorities if elected into this seat?
Well, that's a unique question. Drainage, funding for drainage throughout St. Bernard Parish. Everybody knows I'm a commercial fisherman. I work closely with my fishermen in the eastern part of this parish. I'm known parish-wide, statewide. Continue to push for, some funding for our emergency funding for our fisheries industry, emergency funding for our drainage issues. Work to make sure that our Carolyn Park and Vista and Valrice Park is safe and replace the fields on them and do whatever it takes to get them kids the necessary parks, everything that's in there to make sure that they have a place to go and keep in recreation and off the streets.
Thank you for that, Ms. Fred. Ms. Warner, what would be your top 3 priorities if elected?
My top priority is fight Port Nola as long as I can and as hard as I can. I've been against this since it was going to be in Merrow, and when they were looking at the Sinclair site, I have been against it. Before SOS, before petitions, before lawsuits, I've been against it and I will continue to fight it. St. Bernard has no say in whether that comes this way, so that is probably the biggest thing facing us right now. The second thing is drainage. We have lots of drainage problems. Our pipes are rusting out and getting rotten. We do need to have drainage throughout this entire parish that needs to be replaced. And I think right now our fire department needs our attention. We need to do the best that we can do to make, get the best fire protection and equipment and everything that we can get to our residents and to our firemen. And that would be my top 3.
So we'll move into closing remarks. Ms. Wanda, I'll let you start. If you've got a minute or less for your closing remarks, we'll go with Ms. Wanda first.
Okay. My remarks were going to be the things that I hope to do if I was elected at Council at Large East. And as I said, fight against the port. I will continue to support the Coastal Department in their applications for coastal projects for restoration. I will continue to support the fight against the diversions in St. Bernard. I will continue to work to make a better fire department for everyone in the parish, from Araby to Delacroix, Shell Beach, Wyclosky. I will continue to support film and tourism because they bring in millions of dollars in tax dollars. I will work to support our shrimpers in their fight against the low prices, and maybe do some type of marketing plan that would show and educate the people why they shouldn't be eating or purchasing the imported seafood. And I will continue to work with our council, the administration, our local leaders, our state leaders, to keep St. Bernard moving forward. And I'm Wanda Alkine, I'm number 55, and I humbly ask for your vote as Council at Large East. And thank y'all again.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. Ms. Fred?
I'm Fred Everhard. Everything that Ms. Wanda just said is basically spot on what we need to do. But the thing is, I've been fighting for it for more than just 4 years. I've been fighting for our fisheries industry and our levee protection, our coastal restoration. That is a big key to ensuring the very existence of St. Bernard Parish. That wall is not only, that wall is just a risk reduction wall. That wall we need to make focus on coastal restoration. I am the guy that's been doing that for 8 years now. I have 8 years experience. As far as the port, I issued the legislation on banning the port, not banning, but focusing against the port in St. Bernard Parish. We created the SOS group. I created the SOS group. Through that group, we acquired 10,000 signatures fighting against that, and I really don't have enough time to finish everything that I know about, but my name's Fred Everhart. I'm 56. I have the energy and the knowledge to be your councilman at large East. Thank you.
Thank you for the candidates, Council at Large East. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being with us tonight. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez and the program chair for Louisiana transfer degree. I'm joined here to my right by John Tsai, who's the president of the Student Government Association. And we're going to explain a little bit of the format, and we'll jump right in. So each of you will be given an opportunity to introduce yourself in a 1-minute introduction. We're then going to ask 3 questions of you, and we ask that you answer them in 67 seconds or less. John here is going to help with the time. He puts up the yellow sign, that's 20 seconds left. And if he puts up the red sign, we just ask that you wrap up. There's a microphone in front of you. Just check to see that it's on. We ask that you speak in the mic during when you're giving your remarks, just for the benefit of the people in the audience in the live stream, okay? So let's start over here with Mr. Wayne, and we'll just move right on down the line for your opening remarks. Mr. Wayne.
Okay. I'm Wayne Landry. I bring to this campaign a degree in public administration and a wealth of experience in navigating the complexities of government bureaucracies. I have 38 years experience as a CEO working with government entities. Our parish deserves a leader who not only understands the complexities of our administrative systems, but thrives within them. With my government experience, my educational background, and my hands-on experience, I believe I'm that leader. I've studied for years dedicated to understanding and applying the principles of efficient and transparent governance. I understand full well what the challenges are to our community, and I'm ready to channel my expertise into practical solutions with innovation, transparency, and accountability. I humbly ask for your support in order to bring this capable and responsible leadership to our parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Moving on here, Ms. Carey.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Pally. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I went to Nunez School and then graduated with honors from Archbishop Hannon High School. I then got my bachelor's degree in political science from Southeastern Louisiana University, and I came back home to join my family business. For the last 20 years, I've been a managing partner at Cali's Ice Service. But my involvement in our community and my civic engagement started long before that. For the last 10 years or so, I've served as chairman of the St. Bernard Chamber of Commerce. I founded Leadership St. Bernard, and I've served as secretary-treasurer of the Save Louisiana Coalition. For the last 8 years, I've been council at large East in St. Bernard and been a part of the amazing progress we have seen across our parish. I'm running to be your parish president so we can continue that progress and keep St. Bernard moving forward in a positive direction. And I hope to have your support. Thank you.
Lewis.
I'm Louis Gomez, lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I'm here today to give you part of my resume, what qualifies me for St. Bernard's next parish president. I have dedicated my entire adult life, more than 4 decades, 42 years of service, full-time position to the residents of St. Bernard Parish. I have had opportunities to work with every branch of government in St. Bernard Parish. Today, I am a supervisor over one of the largest departments in parish government. I'm responsible for millions of dollars in budgets, millions of dollars in projects, ongoing projects, and future projects. And today, I'm here to ask the residents of St. Bernard Parish to let me continue serving you for the next 8 years. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lewis, we'll stay with you for this first question, which is this. Given the fact that we are a coastal parish, the forecast for rising sea levels over the coming years and the increased risk resulting from natural disasters to coastal areas, what would you do as parish president to help better prepare the residents and community here to face these changes?
When I first started out in government, my first 8 years was in the coastal department. We have built tide protection levees, we built ring levees, we cut some drainage canals out in the lower part of St. Bernard, outside hurricane protection. Today we have some projects, the Lake Leary project, quite a few other projects. We have some projects right now that are on the books that we're trying to get the funding for. We have the Barry Island, it's a $600 million project that we're trying to get the funds together for. It's being designed right now. So I'm looking forward to doing all we can do to protect the surrounding Louisiana, the coastal.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Come to you, Ms. Carey. And then I'd say some of these questions are rather long. If you want to repeat it, no problem.
Okay. So our coastal crisis in St. Bernard is part of the reason why I decided to run for office 8 years ago. I've lived in eastern St. Bernard my entire life, and I've watched firsthand the issues that not only our coastal communities but our industry faces due to our coastal restoration issues. Over the last 8 years, when we came into office in 2015, we had one coastal project on the books. And through building our coastal department, through building relationships across our state and across our nation, we've been able to build the foundation to put over $1 billion into our coastal restoration department and into our projects that are happening here in St. Bernard. We now have the largest marsh creation in the United States happening right here in Shell Beach. We've worked through many different programs to be able to bring those dollars here to St. Bernard, and I believe that I'm the right person for this job because of the relationships that I've already established over the last decade in Baton Rouge and in DC to be able to continue those funds come to St. Bernard. Thank you.
Well, we've attained over almost $1 billion. A lot of it was BP, a lot of it was CIPRA funds and some other programs. And one of the problems we have in St. Bernard is where to spend that money. There's a lot of projects, as you've heard before, that are ongoing right now that are on the inside waters. The next storm that comes through, the storm surge, is going to take those projects and wipe them out. What we need to do is refocus that money and go to the Chandelier Islands, build up the barrier islands, and that's going to be our greatest protection for St. Bernard Parish in terms of storm surges. So you asked about the rising waters and tides and whatnot. Well, once we protect ourselves from storm surge, then we can go in and rejuvenate the coastal areas. So we can't do that, obviously, without first protecting us from the outside storm surges that will come in and destroy all the efforts that we're currently doing. So that's what I would want to do as Parish President, redirect those funds, build up the barrier islands, give us true storm surge protection, and then work on the inside coastal areas.
Thank you. Carrie, we'll start with you. So the community college students typically live within a 20-mile radius of a community college. And the mission of our institution is to make sure that we're providing high-wage, high-demand jobs to the people we graduate. What strategies would you employ to recruit and retain businesses and industries to our parish and our region to make sure that our students don't have to leave to secure high-paying jobs?
Sure. So I think that Nunez is one of our biggest assets in being able to do that. You know, the fact that we are able to train our students and our young adults here so that we can feed into the industry that St. Bernard is a large part made up of, right? Our P-Tech programs and our certified degrees that are offered here in Nunez allows us to be able to feed those industries and to make it a place where they want to come because they understand that they will have that employee base. So I think supporting the community college and those efforts will help us bring industry here. We also need to continue to increase our population, right? If we increase our population, we continue on the path that we were going on. You know, I mean, over the last 8 years, St. Bernard has become the fastest growing parish in the state. And, you know, Araby has become the second fastest growing suburb in the nation. And that's through our efforts in making a quality of life that people want to come to St. Bernard. They feel safe in St. Bernard. They have a quality school system in St. Bernard. And they know that this is a place that they can raise their families. Us having that population here will naturally bring in the businesses to support Nunez. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis.
Nunez did a great job on bringing in some of the trades that are needed in St. Bernard Parish and throughout the state. Today, Nunez, we have the P-TECH program. It helps out the refineries in St. Bernard Parish. We have a heavy equipment class over here. Quite a few of my guys came here and got qualified on some heavy equipment. It's amazing that y'all have bulldozers, excavators, and dump trucks, and forklifts. And, that's great. Today, the CDL drivers, that's one of the best things that Nunez could have ever done. All over the world, they're looking for CDL drivers. I want to thank y'all for that. I had quite a few of my guys that work in public works department that came and was able to get a Class A CDL. But I just want to thank y'all for that. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wayne.
If I understood your question right, would you mind repeating
Yeah,
it?
no problem. So the community college students are typically living within a 20-mile radius of the place that they go to school, and our particular mission here is to provide high wage and high demand jobs to our graduates. And so what strategies would you employ to recruit businesses and industries to our parish so that our graduates don't have to go elsewhere to receive a high wage?
Okay, I understand your question now. So, one of the problems we have in St. Bernard Parish is we have a lot of land mass that was available to us. And when we use our land mass for industries such as the proposed port that's coming down here, that doesn't really bring high wage jobs to our parish, okay? Nunez could be very instrumental if we can develop a better plan of our land use, bring in higher tech jobs, because that's how we're going to bring our medium income up. We're not going to bring it up having people operate equipment. We're not going to bring our medium income up unless we have true higher paying jobs. And the only way to have true higher paying jobs is we have to get tapped into the tech industry and other industries like that we can then train our people to go to and hopefully work hand in hand with this institution to provide a pathway for us to at least elevate our citizenry. Without those opportunities, we can't take advantage of any industries out there that are non-destructive to our way of life. And I think, developing industries that actually promote our way of life is the way to go to increase our medium income.
Thank you all. Mr. Wayne, we'll start with you here. Come down the line again. What would be your top 3 priorities if elected?
Well, the first priority is to try and stop the port. And there's about this much chance to stop the port, to be real with everyone, and the rest of the room is the probability that it'll go through. So if we can't stop the port, we need to at least chew gum and walk at the same time and try and develop the infrastructure, which could be another way out to evacuate in terms of hurricanes and whatnot in the event the port does come. So that would be my number one. First, don't want it. If we gotta have it, after we done turn the table over, then that's what we need to focus on. That's number one. Number 2, one of the things that I think is critically important in St. Bernard is something that you asked a question on earlier. We have to start developing our land use much better. We have to attract those people, because the investments I'm trying to protect aren't the billion-dollar investments that could be destroying our way of life. I'm interested in the investments people come and make in their homes. And if we can bring that to happen, make the quality of life what it used to be in St. Bernard, and that's why we repopulated, then we can say we finished number 2. Number 3, I want to bring some efficient and transparent governance to this parish. I think that we have a great parish, and we need to have a great, efficient, and communicative, honest government. And those were my top 3 priorities.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Ms. Carey?
Yes, I think that the biggest responsibility of the parish president is going to be able to make sure that we keep up our regional relationships so that we can bring infrastructure dollars to St. Bernard. We have big problems in St. Bernard that are bigger than our tax base can handle, that we should expect from our citizenship. So we're going to have to make sure that we have the relationships across the state and the country, that we can bring those infrastructure dollars to handle our drainage, to handle the projects that are coming to St. Bernard. We also need to, I believe, we need to make sure that we concentrate on our youth. One of the problems that we're seeing in St. Bernard is that our youth needs to have a diversity of recreation programs. I think we can diversify our recreation department so that we can make sure that we have the mentorship programs or the drug rehabilitation programs and the things that our youth needs to stay on the right path and have a positive future in St. Bernard. I also think that we need to make sure that our grants department, our community development department are all working together to be able to make sure that the quality of life in St. Bernard stays at a higher standard. So those would be my top priorities.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
I think the first one is the port of New Orleans coming to St. Bernard. We have to work very hard to try to stop that port of New Orleans from coming and destroy St. Bernard Parish. I think the second thing is we need the insurance commissioner for the state of Louisiana to get up in Washington to get the homeowners insurance policies lowered to where we can move some of these houses that are on the market right now. People can afford to buy some of these new houses. And the third and most important thing, I'd like to get some investors together to build one of the biggest seafood processing plants in the state of Louisiana, right down here in St. Bernard. Right next to that seafood processing plant, we put one of the largest cold storage facilities to hold that seafood. I think that would employ a couple hundred people in St. Bernard Parish, and it would definitely help out the commercial fishing industry. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for taking the time to be with us, the candidates for parish president, and we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
I know. No closings?
Hey, I'm so sorry.
Closing?
Candidates for parish president, you were also convincing in your priorities that I took them to mean your closing statements. And I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Tinney. And John's over here in my ear as well. We're going to get some good closing statements now, folks. Sorry. Didn't mean to get you up and out of here.
That's what I was whispering.
Yeah, no. Y'all should have corrected me. Y'all should have corrected me. So we'll do it right down the line here. Starting with Mr. Lewis. We're going to take a minute just to make sure that you have the opportunity to make a closing statement. So, Mr. Lewis, take it away.
As I said, I was a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish, and I have devoted my entire adult life, more than 4 decades, of serving the people in St. Bernard Parish. I started from the bottom, worked my way to the top, and today I'm still employed in St. Bernard Parish. I run one of the largest departments in government, responsible for millions of dollars in projects, millions of dollars in budgets. I'm looking forward to continue doing what I'm doing. So I imagine the residents of St. Bernard Parish to please, September 30th through the 7th, October 7th, please go out and early vote. October 14th is the election. You only have 1 day to vote if you wait till the 14th. So please go out and early vote. I'm asking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis.
I'm running to be parish president in St. Bernard because I am proud of the progress that we have made over the last 8 years. We have come so far, and I believe that our leadership is now reflective of the good people that live in St. Bernard Parish. We have taken a parish that had an unbalanced budget, that had scattered redevelopment, that had an image that was not reflective of its people, and we have completely turned it around. We have put 1,000 lots back into commerce. We've become the fastest growing parish in the state. We have $1 billion in coastal restoration funding, and we have relationships across the state and country. I believe that I'm the best candidate because of my qualifications, my experience, and my involvement in St. Bernard, not just during election times, but all of the time throughout my life. I hope that you'll join me in my campaign. I hope that you will jump on board. We've been seeing an amazing group of people join us and get excited about the future that St. Bernard holds and what we can see happen here. And I think that it's an exciting time for St. Bernard, and I just want to be a part of it and lead with a new vision in St. Bernard and continue to see it grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for putting this on. I spoke to the chancellor early and thank you for putting this on. This is really great. 8 years ago, I ran for this position. And 8 years ago, we didn't win this position. When I say we, I mean I didn't lose. We all lost. In the last 8 years, let's recap what's happened. They tried to pass a sneaky election to where they would extend their term limits. They passed a fire tax and closed fire stations. They passed a drainage tax and made us take on the encumbrance of a pumping system for our flood protection. This is a critically important election, and we got a port coming full steam ahead at us. The elections have consequences. We need to elect capable, responsible, accountable leadership. And that's what I'm offering, the same thing I offered 8 years ago. St. Bernard, let's get it right this time. I appreciate all the people's patience as we went door to door, knocking on your doors. I'm really grateful and humble to have all the support we have. Please get out there and vote, and I humbly ask for your support. And let's bring St. Bernard back to our own quality of life. Thank y'all.
Well, I'm glad that we had the closing statements. Thank you so much. And thanks for being patient. These are our candidates for parish president. Good evening. Thanks for being with us.
Good evening.
My name is Nick Slie. I'm a professor here at Nunez Community College, and I'm a program chair for the Louisiana transfer degrees here. I'm joined by John Tsai, the student government president. So we thank you for being with us. I'll explain to you a little bit about how this is going to work. You'll each be given 1 minute to give an opening remark. We'll have 3 questions for you. You'll answer those in 60 seconds or less, and at the end we'll do closing remarks, and you'll have a minute. John's going to help us out with the time. When you see the yellow sign, you've got 20 seconds left, and when you see that red sign, we ask that you wrap things up. You all good with that?
Yeah.
So we really are grateful that you take the time. We know you have very busy schedules. I'd like to open up here. We'll start with you, Mr. Richard, and we're just going to come and you can begin your opening remarks.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Richard Lewis. I am running for State Representative, District 103. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard Parish. I've been married to my wife, Jennifer Lewis, for 28 years. We have one daughter, Madison Lewis, who has graduated Shelman High School in 2019 and is now attending college to be a nurse. I've been on the St. Bernard Parish Council for the last 12 years. I've been in Council at Large West for the last 8 years. I've served 6 years on the St. Bernard Parish Finance Committee as chairman, and also 4 years on the St. Bernard Parish Planning Commission. I chose to run for state representative because I see the need at the state level for some representation for St. Bernard that we haven't had in a while. We need to have somebody that's going to go up to the state, be aggressive, and get things done for St. Bernard. I have fostered plenty of relationships in St. Bernard, and I know what St. Bernard needs, and I feel like I'm the best qualified guy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Stacy?
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me. Stacey Raleigh Sr., just lifelong resident as well, besides my military experience. I'm 21 years veteran. I'm married to Ms. Dana Raleigh, 20 years. Between the two, we raised 13 children. I'm proud of that fact. Former school board member, St. Bernard Parish. Katrina hit, we rebuilt the schools. I didn't seek re-election at that time because I had some family issues going on. But I believe that St. Bernard Parish does need the proper representation, someone who's not afraid to make the right decisions and challenge, go across the aisle, do bipartisan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stacy. How about you, Mr. Mike?
I'm Mike Bayham. I'm running for state representative. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Bernard. In fact, grew up just on Fenelon, a block down the street. I'm also someone who graduated from Holy Cross High School and LSU. I worked in the state senate while I was at LSU. I'm a former St. Bernard Parish councilman. At the time, in 2001, when I was elected, at the age of 26, I was the youngest one ever elected. I'm happy to say other people younger than me have since been elected. Some of my priorities as a councilman was improving St. Bernard's image. I cracked down on public blight in St. Bernard, chaired the St. Bernard Parish Flag Redesign Commission, and I founded the Battle of New Orleans reenactment. I wanted to give the news media a reason to come to St. Bernard for something other than a refinery explosion or a catastrophic flood. I'm very proud of my record as a councilman. I've worked with senators and representatives from across the state to deliver for our community, and I would appreciate your consideration in the election for state rep.
Thank you so much for those introductions. Mr. Mike, we're going to stick with you. The first question here. In a recent Lumina poll, 75% of community college students indicated that they considered dropping out due to emotional and social stress. Because students are a reflection of our community and our region's health and well-being, we want to know how would you plan to improve access to health care and mental health services for our students and our residents?
Thank you, that's an excellent question. And I touched on it yesterday at the WDSU debate regarding violence in high schools. We live in a much different society from when I grew up in, many years ago. And we need to invest more in mental health services. We need more counselors present in the school system, the public school system, grade school, primary, secondary, and in the community college and in university level. We have too many young people are turning to drugs to self-medicate some of the stress that they are enduring, and that's not right, and that's dangerous. And we've had far too many overdoses over the last 20 years in this community. So putting an emphasis on mental health support, destigmatizing people who need help with therapists, that's something I'm going to be a big advocate for, and you can count on my support for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. I want to say these questions are pretty long, and I'm happy to repeat them at any time. So, Mrs. Stacy, would you like to hear the question again?
No, I'm good.
You good? Okay,
yes,
great. Thank you.
And I like to say I am a product of community college as well. I graduated from Delgado Community College back in 1986. So I understand the challenges that you go through as far as, well, healthcare is one of my #1 priorities. And I think especially with the mental health. After former Governor Agenda closed down many of the mental health facilities, we have seen an ongoing aspect of that, the mental health. And the challenges, the peer pressure with the social media that the kids are going through these days, this challenge or that challenge, it makes it real hard. And I think mental health is should be one of the top priorities. And also education. We have many role models, male role models are leaving the education because of the pay. They have to feed their families. And so we need to boost the pay for as educators is concerned as well. And that would be 2 of my top priorities.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stacy. Mr. Richard, would you need the question? Or?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so a recent Lumina poll stating that 75% of community college students consider dropping out because of mental or emotional stress. And this is recent. Because students are a reflection of our community and our region's health and well-being, how do you plan to improve access to health care and mental health care services for our students and our residents?
Yeah, thank you for that question. The first thing we need to do is sit down and come up with somewhat of an aggressive plan. A lot of what's happening today is all driven by cell phones, right? It gives us all anxiety. We have so much information at our fingertips. Growing up, I didn't know what was going on in Washington, D.C. like everybody does today, and it's just because of the information. And I think we need to work with the medical field and the education field to make mental health counselors and in that industry more accessible to the students. And we also need to do some programs with the younger kids where we teach them how to handle the information that's coming through their cell phones, and we teach them some of the things that come through social media. I mean, a lot of that drives the suicidal stuff and I don't want to go to school stuff because of the peer pressure, just like Mr. Raleigh said, that's happening through social media. So I think making access to more counselors and working with the education and the mental, putting everybody at the table and coming up with an aggressive plan that will help them handle the stress, the peer pressure of social media, because I think that's the main driver for the increase in the numbers.
Okay, I'll stick with you, Mr. Richard. It's one of the most important jobs we have in relation to our school with our state reps, has to do with our funding formula. So you all probably know that the Louisiana Constitution charges the Board of Regents with the responsibility of developing a funding formula, and that's for equitable distribution of state funds to the public post-secondary education institutions. So that formula has been designed to also reflect what is important in higher education. And so our question is, how would you advocate for funding to be allocated to 2- and 4-year institutions to promote educational opportunity and access?
Well, the first thing I would have to do is really educate myself a lot better in those 2 departments to know how to allocate funding. I can talk about what I've already done in St. Bernard Parish when it comes to funding and projects and bringing over $1 billion of coastal projects to St. Bernard Parish, bringing money for our St. Bernard Parish jail and all of the parks and things that you do. I know how to access money and I know how to go get funding. But in this particular topic, I can't really give a specific answer to your question because I'm not educated enough in the two topics that you zeroed in on right there. But I can tell you that when it comes to getting funding for projects, nobody up here is going to be more aggressive than I'm going to be. And nobody up here has the record I have for the amount of dollars brought to St. Bernard Parish. Thank you.
Mr. Stacy, how do you feel about how you would advocate for funding to be allocated to 2- and 4-year institutions to promote educational opportunity?
Well, again, another area that I'm very familiar with. I used to work in the controller's office at Southern University in New Orleans, where I did the budget for the university. So you're talking about the MFP funding. Very strong advocate for education. You know, I live, die, drive, far as I'm always educating myself on a personal level. So funding for education, just as I stated, we need to fund the higher education. And I'll be a strong advocate towards changing the MFP formula to give more money to the educational funds. I really will fight for that in that area.
Thank you, Mr. Stacy. Mr. Mike?
The good news is that the political culture in Louisiana has changed over the last 20 years. There's support for higher education now than there was back in the 90s. And part of that is because businesses that want to come to Louisiana look for two things. They want a favorable tax environment and regulatory environment, but the other thing you never hear about, but it's so important, is they want a skilled and educated workforce. Economic development is tied to education, and the community college system has done more to put people into the workforce than almost any other area, and it's critical that we support it. Well, as state representative, I'll be an advocate for funding for our community college system because it's important, and I will be engaged with the leadership of the Elaine P. Nunez Community College. Before legislative sessions, I will meet with the chancellor, and I would like to meet the student leaders, and we'll have a discussion on where we are financially with the state. Tough decisions are going to have to be made, but the good news is there is support in Louisiana now that there wasn't many years ago for higher ed.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mike. Mr. Stacy, we'll go to you here. Could you tell us about your top 3 priorities if elected into this position?
Okay, the first 2 I already talked about was healthcare, especially with mental health. Education, more funding for teachers and for the educational fund, and infrastructure. As you know, St. Bernard, we are in the little soup bowl, as we want to call it. Coastal erosion is a major issue in regards to it. You know, we have things, and you talk about the global warming. You know, all before we used to always worry about hurricanes. Now we have to worry about tornadoes. You know, recently we had 2 tornadoes hit St. Bernard, devastated, but as you know, we look, the parish is resilient. We rebuild and everyone's going on. But yes, that's my 3 top priorities.
Okay, Mr. Mike, your top 3 priorities.
Very succinctly, first, fighting the Violet Port project. That's number 1. That will have a detrimental effect on our community if it's built. Number 2, working to lower homeowners' rates in Louisiana. This is a crisis that people are being priced out of their homes. We need to tackle this, and I will support a special session to work on changing laws and to protect consumers while also creating a more competitive market for insurance companies in Louisiana. 3 is crime. We have a crime problem all over the country, mainly in the cities, but we need to tackle this. We need to have a greater sense of accountability imposed upon those who go around and commit violence in their communities and terrorize neighborhoods.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Mr. Richard?
Thank you. Absolutely, insurance is going to be one of my top priorities. I think that we need to set an environment where other insurance companies can come in here and we can get a more competitive rate. One of the biggest problems we have is Louisiana is not conducive for these other companies to come in and write insurance. We need to be able to attract other companies in to bring some of those rates down, along with some other methods that it would take. The second thing would be definitely crime, and I know we don't feel that a lot in St. Bernard Parish, but it's moving in more and more every day to our parish. So I would definitely want to support the police association and the policemen as much as I could to try to fight crime. The third thing that I would be, obviously I'm going to throw in fighting the port. I'm going to give you 4. Fighting the port is definitely going to be a top priority. We got to make sure, and look, I'm not an unrealist. I understand that one legislator might not be able to stop the port all on his own. That port's going to come here. We have to make sure that it fits our culture and we don't fit its culture. And the fourth thing I'm going to go to is I'm going to support the teachers' raise, and I'm going to push on that just as soon as I get to Baton Rouge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Mike, we'll start with you. We'll come down the line. It's an opportunity to give your closing statement. So.
First of all, I'd like for all of the members of the Student Government Association to raise their hand. I can't see you, but I want to thank y'all for your service to this community college. And I can tell you, student government is something where you learn a lot about how to manage things, not just in government, but in life skills, procedures. So thank you for your service. The most important thing we need out of a state representative is someone that will stand up for St. Bernard. I've been doing this my whole adult life. I'll never forget attending an LSU College Republican meeting where this guy running for governor just started trashing Elaine P. Nunez Community College as a waste of money. And you could have heard a pin drop when it got to the Q&A session, and I raised my hand because everyone but that candidate in that room knew that someone from Chalmette was in that room. And I challenged him. Now, I was a teenager going toe-to-toe with a statewide official, but I stood up for this community college, and I've stood up for this parish, and I will continue standing up for this parish as your next state representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stacy.
Yes, thank you, and again, thank you to the Student Government Association. I'm Stacey Riley Sr., number 50 on the ballot. I'm endorsed by the AFL-CIO. I've been a strong advocate for the working class my entire life, as well as when I was in the military. I still supported education. We educated those in the military as well to go out and get their degrees. And consider me, I'll fight for St. Bernard. I've always fought for my hometown. Stacey Riley Sr., number 50. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you, and again, thank you guys for putting this on. Richie Lewis, one thing about me is I've been fighting for St. Bernard and standing up for St. Bernard issues for the last 16 years. I've been elected for the last 12. Brung billions of dollars to St. Bernard Parish, spent my entire life fostering relationships not only with most business owners in St. Bernard Parish, but with a lot of families. I haven't worked a lot in Baton Rouge like some of my counterparts up here, but I have worked in St. Bernard Parish, and I know the needs of St. Bernard Parish families and businesses. The only candidate up here that has created a job, can retain a job, has started a business from the ground up, and run successful businesses. This is a big deal when you go to Baton Rouge and represent St. Bernard. My name is Richie Lewis. I'm number 49 on the ballot, and I will continue to represent St. Bernard as I will be the St. Bernard candidate for representative. Thank you.
Well, we thank the candidates for state rep, and we thank everyone who's participated tonight. We especially thank the Student Government Association. And thanks for your service. This concludes our evening. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.